What up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of the Dragon Ball Virgin podcast. You got your co-hosts, Gozen from AnimeUproar, the YouTube and Twitch channel, and Ray, the Dragon Ball and anime version of Legend. What up, Ray?
What up, Gozen? Excited to talk about Nappa and Vegeta.
Nappa and Vegeta, we are here. There are so many, meme moments that came from this arc that we're going to be talking about. I have two of them showing on Twitch right now and on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, I will talk about them later. So that's going to be really fun. And yeah, we're covering episodes 22 to 35 of the Dragon Ball Z anime, or chapters 19 to 47 of the manga, plus later the World's Strongest movie and the Tree of Might movies. And as you'll see, I specifically made the movies after the anime because there are some stuff in the movies that happen only after this part in the anime, right? So Ray would have noticed that. um, oh my god.
No
And
comment.
then yeah, because if you guys don't know, I set everything up really nicely, like the schedule, and then Ray does watch his stuff in the wrong order and watch the movies before the actual anime episodes. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't check, but we're gonna deal with that. And next episode is gonna be covering episodes 36 to 61 of the anime, or chapters 48 to 77, and that will be, of course, entering the Namek Saga. So very exciting stuff. From here on out, we're approaching some of my favorite arcs in all of Dragon Ball, including my favorite one, which is Cell Saga. I'm not gonna say any more than that to not spoil Ray, but yeah, we are approaching some epic shit.
Yeah, at least next week there are no movies, so I'll nail the order.
Exactly. So we're not gonna have movies next week, but we are gonna have movies the week after that, and there will be an order to them. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Howdy, Kate's what up in the chat? She says, "Rest in peace, Yamcha."
Hmm.
And I do have Yamcha showing on the screen right now. When he gets wiped out. So Ray is gonna be totally unaware of all of the memes that Dragon Ball has. So this is gonna be fun seeing him react to them. And this was so compared to everything we've seen so far, this by far had the most memes. Yeah. Any initial thoughts on this specific arc?
No, it was pretty epic in terms of tons of great fight scenes as well. I mean, I grew to really enjoy Vegeta as a villain compared to some of the other villains we've seen in the past. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. Something else I also noticed as well. I mean, I maybe was gonna wait till we got to the movies, but it's just an observation. It's not necessarily about the movies. The theme, like the theme song that's played in Canada, I believe, because I looked it up on YouTube. A lot of the fight scenes from the movies are in the theme song.
A lot of the yeah, exactly. I noticed that. I remember
Yeah,
too watching maybe on YTV or whatever if you guys are
yeah,
Canadian. Yeah, I noticed that too. I had flashbacks during the movies of seeing these movie parts in the actual anime intro when I was growing up. So that was really cool actually because that made them more significant to me than they would have been otherwise.
yes. Yeah, in the Funimation version, it's different. And I'd be curious one day to even get a bit of background about why they chose different theme songs for each one. Anyways, that's just like kind of geeky thing I'm interested maybe one day talking about or
Yeah,
finding out about.
yeah, I don't, yeah, exactly. I don't know, but definitely the Dragon, Rock the Dragon Ball Z is the most iconic one.
Yes,
And is that the one you based off of or intro off of or no?
it is.
It is
So
so
I'm
cool.
sure everyone noticed our intro is the Rock the Dragon
Except
with
on Twitch, we don't have an intro, but on
yeah,
YouTube and the On the AnimeUproar 2 YouTube channel, where we've been posting episodes, and on the podcasts, you'll hear an intro. And shout out to Ray, he actually made that using a guitar.
I did. I played my electric Fender guitar and added the drums in as like a simulation in the background. So yeah, that
So
is me on the guitar.
yeah, talented dude here for sure. And as well, like now, as you said before, it makes sense because we're actually at Dragon Ball Z, but we were
Yeah,
using it even when we were at Dragon Ball.
yeah,
So perfect. Yeah, like I could jump right into the arc if you're ready.
sure,
All
I'm
right.
good.
All right. So, Ray's sick guitar skills aside, we have Nappa and Vegeta. I purposely stopped at this point last time so we could talk about Raditz, and then we come with Vegeta and Nappa coming to Earth and coming out of their capsules. And Nappa is an absolute fucking beast, bro. Like, I can't believe, like, this is very early Dragon Ball Z, right? And we
Yeah,
already have an enemy that's stronger than, like, most villains you'll get in, like, most other anime. You know what
mm,
I mean? Like, we saw Vegeta destroy an entire planet in a filler episode last arc, and we know that he can destroy the entire planet based off of some events that happen here. But then Nappa just comes, raises his finger, and destroys an entire city. Like
yeah.
it's insane. So what the fuck were your thoughts on that? Their whole introduction there.
It was pretty dramatic, especially there was a giant explosion. I'm pretty sure you could see the explosion from like the vantage point of looking at the planet. Like you could actually see the impact that him just raising his finger made from space, which is crazy. So yeah, if you said compared to other anime, these guys are crazy in terms of strength. Like this is my normal, so it's going to be weird if I ever transition to other anime to be like, yeah, these guys don't even compare to the
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z guys.
exactly. You gotta look at the story and not the power levels, because yeah, you have a situation where if you're power scaling, like some people do, they're like, "Yo, fuck that anime, man. Dragon Ball could like destroy all of those guys,"
Yeah,
which is a stupid way to look at it. But yeah, like the power already is absolutely insane right here,
yeah,
insane. Um, and of course we have Vegeta who does less of the like showing off, but we realize he's actually stronger.
yes,
So that's a whole nother thing that we have to look forward to, seeing him in action. Um, so what they immediately notice, which was pretty interesting to me, is that they read multiple power levels over 1,000 right away,
yeah,
right? So just like refresh you guys in this episode or in this arc, we actually get information that the Cybermen are like 1,200 or over 1,200 power level, and that they're stronger than Raditz.
hmm,
So in this short time, like everyone got way stronger and pretty much surpassed where Goku was at the beginning of the series. So we're talking like Tien surpassing him, Krillin surpassing him, Yamcha surpassing him. Like it's crazy, right? Because he was at
yeah,
like 400 something without the weights, and these guys have over 1,000 now. So it's interesting to see. Obviously, Goku's gonna come back here and be like way stronger, but it's interesting to see like the multiplier and how quickly people reach Goku's old level.
yeah. And I found that we talked about last week some parts that were a bit unrealistic. Like here are guys like Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, who they're able to get to strength that is beyond Raditz, and they had the same training as Goku did when he was with Kami, which was before the tournament from Dragon Ball. So I'm just like, how the hell did they get that strong in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's like in some insane power level. Like I joke to myself like it would be so funny if Yamcha could travel back in time and like defeat Raditz at this point.
I know.
So like right, Raditz is all like this massive villain, and then Yamcha just comes and he's like, Goku, let me handle this, bro, and then just kicks Raditz' ass. Like that would be a funny fan story of
Yeah, or defeats Piccolo or something.
yeah, because there are huge power differences between arcs and how fast people like grow. So that would be funny. But yes, so we have obviously the reality of the situation is everyone will get significantly stronger, but obviously so far Goku has been leading the pack significantly always.
Yes. And
Until of course he beats someone and then they become like part of the pack kind of thing.
yeah. And did you end up getting the power levels? Because I did write them down.
I usually notice the parallels, but I don't know if I wrote down every single one.
Okay, so what I wrote down from the anime was this is when the those aliens, what are their names again? Cybermen?
Cybermen.
Cybermen. When they
Cybermen!
when they come out,
Dude, let me just
I'm
tell
pretty
you. Let me just
yeah.
tell you. I was so hyped when I saw the Cybermen, bro. Like, it's insane. Like, nostalgia is, like, so powerful. Like, in general, it's like Cybermen, they're cool. But for me, like, it's like, oh my god, the Cybermen, the hype is real. So, like, I was so excited, man. Like, Nappa, all of it. Oh my god, I was so excited. But keep going. What about the Cybermen?
Oh, I was just gonna mention when they were going to take them on it, one of them ended up scaling them, whether it was Vegeta or Nappa. I'm pretty sure they said Gohan was clocked in at 1,000. And again, this is, I guess, like resting power level
Yeah,
because they obviously charge. Piccolo is at 1,400 and Krillin is at 1,100.
yeah. And you were like, what the fuck?
I know, because even compared before, remember, just with Raditz, a lot of their levels were like anywhere from 100 to 300 resting,
Yeah.
and now they're like crazy. They're 1,000 or over.
Yeah. So that's another thing you got to keep in mind with power levels. And someone actually commented that in the YouTube comments, which is like, don't take lemming. What am I saying? Power leveling too seriously, because it's not going to be like super consistent. And
Yeah,
we can talk about its consistency as we go forward. But yeah, you got Goku here, who went through all of the adventures we've had so far, right? and and at the pinnacle of it, when before he fought Raditz, his like resting power level was like 400 something with his clothes off, which that sounds funny, but with his weight off, I can only reach my full power with my clothes off.
I know. Well, in his case,
um,
that's true.
yeah, so that happened, and now Gohan at like 5 years old or six now maybe, um, or like no, is it five? Yeah, I think five, right? Because he's four in the
Yeah, 'cause
beginning.
he was four, like
Yeah.
in the
So
Raditz
this
saga.
kid is 5 years old and he's like resting power level 1000, which is insane. But keep in mind also, I will mention there are some differences in power levels between the manga and the anime, and some pretty famous ones specifically. So I will mention that when it comes up.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So that's the other thing like you have to keep in mind. It's funny how he came to Chad's like Goku is definitely strong with his clothes off, and we kind of talked about that how like during fights he always seems to like lose parts of his clothing.
Yes,
You know,
for sure.
so that's definitely a trope that we can look forward to seeing. But yeah, so that's pretty much power levels will be interesting, but don't get upset if they're not realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just have fun with it.
yeah. Totally fine. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, where do you want to like? Do you want to jump to the Cybermen, or do you want to say something before that part?
Oh no, I'm totally fine to jump to them. I know basically what Vegeta I think suggests is that they take them on one at a time.
Yeah,
So the first one up I believe is Tien.
which is a great setup, right?
Yeah, well, especially for them because their whole plan. This is from the last episode. We find out near the end Goku now has to travel back from Snake Way, and he's not there. They're still waiting for him, so they understand that, and they need to delay things so that he's able to come without like the world being destroyed because they know they can't defeat these guys on their own.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's an ideal situation to slow things down and take a one person at a time approach. Though it doesn't necessarily like end that way. Things get more complicated.
Yeah, and some people kind of act stupid at times. Like for example, I'm jumping ahead a bit, but it would have been good if they just took as much time as possible with this one-on-one format, but then Krillin just destroys all the Cybermen at once. And it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, that was cool, Krillin, but that's not the fucking plan, Krillin.
yeah, I know.
I know he was upset, but like still, that was not a good move because their number one power right now was being distracting and being able to like actually entertain these guys so they don't just kill them all right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tien fucking crushes the Cybermen, right? Like it's not even close, especially in the manga. But like, what did you think about it in the anime?
Yeah, no, he did a great job against them. Even Yamcha as well.
Okay,
He
yeah, you're jumping
fared
ahead a bit,
fairly
but
well. I am, yeah, but I was just basically grouping them together in terms of, they do well, and you really do see their increase in power based on their training. But yeah, Tien for sure shows up. Something I did notice though, and this might have been right before Tien took on the Cybermen, was I think Piccolo and Krillin decide they're gonna take them on first, and they're kind of fighting them preliminarily, and Gohan gets scared and doesn't want to get involved, and that's like a common thing we see a lot within this arc is Gohan getting intimidated,
yeah,
especially near the beginning and middle, and that ends up kind of costing them at times
yeah,
when they're
you
relying
might
on him.
get you might keep getting annoyed by that because I'm not sure that we've seen the last of that. But the only thing I can say is remember that he's 5 years old, right?
Absolutely,
So it's
yeah,
like, bro, when I was 5 years old, like I would have been scared shitless as well.
yeah,
In all defense.
and this is the first time that he's actually fighting like a quote unquote real opponent. Like
Yeah,
he's been training the whole time.
where he's not just getting upset, losing out, and like hitting Raditz. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Raditz or Piccolo in his training.
So yeah, so Tien, the main thing that stuck to me was the Cybermen were supposed to be stronger than Raditz, and Tien crushed him. So yeah, that power difference where Tien could have just like wrecked Raditz, that I see where you thought that was like a bit too quick. But you know what I kind of think about it like, you know how there's that thing in sports where there was a specific time that people thought you can't run faster than this time. It's not humanly possible. And then
Yes.
one person did it, and then a bunch of people did it. And now it's like an old record. Like it's,
Yeah.
so it's like once people know something is possible, then they can more quickly rise to the next level. And I feel like we're seeing a lot of that with the Z fighters, right?
Hmm.
I feel like they're like, okay, so Goku can attain that level, then I can too. It's just by the time they get there, Goku is like way beyond that.
Yeah.
So
He's always moving
that's
forward.
the only like universal law that we could apply here for this to make more sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, one notable thing within that fight with Tien, I don't know if we mentioned this, but the technique that that particular Cyberman uses, he opens his head, and there's
yeah.
this kind of ooze that comes out,
Yeah,
which looks pretty disgusting. But he
okay.
dodges it.
Yeah, I never thought about it as an ooze, but clearly I know
What
where
would
your mind went. Yeah.
I mean, what would you even call it?
Yeah, it's like
It
yeah, it's
wasn't
like
an
this.
energy wave or anything.
Yeah, I guess saying white liquid doesn't help, eh?
No.
Zekken said acid, so yeah, like I guess you could call it acid.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like it was interesting. First of all, I like it's crazy, but I like the uniqueness of how they grew these incredibly strong fighters. Like they just planted them in the ground, right, and
Yeah.
put a specific solution on them, and then they came up and they're stronger than Raditz. So that's fucking hilarious.
Hmm.
and yeah, so Tien crushes it, and then Yamcha, our boy Yamcha, much respected Yamcha. He wants to take on the next Cyberman. And
Yeah.
Krillin's like, no, bro, I'll do it. And at this point, Yamcha points out a very important thing to keep in mind for this whole arc. where he says, "No, Krillin, you've already died once.
Hmm.
You can't be wished back again by the Dragon Balls, right? We covered that. You can only wish the same wish once, as far as we know. So since Krillin was wished back once, you can't wish him back again. So as far as we know, Krillin cannot die. And so Yamcha is like, yeah, I haven't died yet, which props to Yamcha, who he hasn't died yet. And then he goes up to fight, but he's cocky as fuck, bro. Like he's cocky as fuck, and you gotta love it. But like, bro, you're not careful enough, man. Like he's like, yeah, like anything you thought about that whole like his attitude towards the fight.
Yeah, no, he was cocky, and I guess the training really went to his head. I don't think you saw that same cockiness with Tien when he went up there. I mean, there was a confidence in terms of like they knew they noticeably improved, but yeah, Yamcha definitely had that cockiness. And actually, before even we get to Yamcha, really quick, something I remembered: didn't the first Cybermen, Vegeta was just so disgusted how Tien was able to land that shot that he just basically destroyed it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
so yeah, the Cybermen was not able to battle, or it was so weak that there was no point compared to Tien, and so Vegeta destroyed him, right, his own Cybermen, and
yeah,
said, "Let that be a lesson to the rest of you. If you don't go all out from the beginning and you hold back, like you're gonna die too." So
yeah,
already we get that Vegeta, like this is Vegeta, in my opinion, at his like, I mean, we can judge as we go forward, to be honest. And we might change our minds at that point. Like it's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball Z, but for me, this is like pinnacle badass Vegeta.
yes,
Like he is not taking shit. He is willing to kill his own people in cold blood. Like he wants to wait for Kakarot to get there so that he could kill his son in front of him. Like this is like unapologetic evil Vegeta, and you love to hate him and you hate to love him. Like, or yeah, whatever. But like, you love him as a villain, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. He's ruthless. If you thought Raditz was ruthless, Vegeta takes the cake.
Oh yeah, like Raditz is like a little puppy compared to Vegeta, bro. And I love it. I love it so much. It's funny. Eneru in the chat says biggest bitch slap in anime incoming, and he's talking about, of course, what happens to Yamcha, which is after Yamcha, feels cocky, and I kind of love his cockiness. Not gonna lie, like I like his bravado, but he lets down his guard, and then the Cyberman attaches and self destructs,
Yeah,
killing Yamcha.
yeah,
Right. So that was. What did you think about that? Tell me your initial reaction to that.
yeah. When he dies, I mean, it's pretty dramatic as well. I noticed in terms of because at this point, and we didn't mention this. Krillin, or sorry, not Krillin. I'm pretty sure Bulma and everyone are watching. Are they watching on the crystal ball that Bulma? Or no, they're watching on the news. Because remember, this is being broadcast like on national television.
Yeah.
So yeah, so everyone is watching what's going on, and yeah, when Yamcha dies from that self-destructive, that self-exploded Cyberman, like Bulma is breaking down. She basically says like I was supposed to marry him. I do feel like a sense of remorse because yeah, Yamcha, we talked about him being a quote unquote useless character at times, but like he has a good heart, and it was tough to see. Like similar to kind of Krillin, maybe not as dramatic, but yeah, tough to see such a prominent character that we grew up in terms
Exactly.
of
We
seeing
knew
the
him.
Dragon Ball
We knew him
so
before
young.
Krillin, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tough to
So
see him die.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I agree with you. Just a fun fact for anime watchers that didn't read the manga, like most of that TV stuff is not in the actual manga. So we
Okay,
mostly just get the fights rather than like them reacting to the fights, which makes sense, right? Because them reacting to the fights is pretty much like just a cue for how we should see the
Yeah.
situation, which is
Yeah.
not totally necessary. But yeah, that Bulma moment definitely gives some more meaning to Yamcha's death
Yeah.
because Bulma, is such a prominent character as well. And yeah, finally, despite the on and off again relationship with Yamcha, she can't help but be emotional about this situation.
Yes, absolutely. And even Vegeta, I'm pretty sure says something like, "Give them a moment with their dead friend." Like, I don't think in terms of like let them mourn, but he sees the effect it has on them, and he's like, "Yeah, don't just go after Krillin or whoever next. Like, give them time just to." Kind of insults them, like, go, mourn their friend. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty dramatic event that happens. But
Yeah.
yeah, we get that moment, and obviously, what that does is it spurs on Krillin because we find out obviously that he was supposed to be the one that fought that particular Cyberman, similar to way back in Dragon Ball when Goku was going to go back and retrieve the Dragon Ball on the pole, and then Krillin went instead, and he gets killed, and we see Goku full
Yeah.
of emotion.
So
Here we get it in a different way.
yeah, so Goku, he's gonna feel bad when he gets here. Like obviously he's not here yet,
Yeah,
but like yeah, these guys, why are they dying? Because Goku wasn't there to help them, right? Which which is kind of like gotta bother Goku. Obviously, it makes sense that it would. And just so you know, this is one of the most iconic images of like Dragon Ball, and it's one of the most memed images where you have Yamcha um, in that crater after the explosion where he dies, right?
yeah,
So that's a very memed image in Dragon Ball Z, among Dragon Ball Z fans, and so this kind of becomes Yamcha's ultimate downfall at this point, um, in a way, right? Because he's like dead. I'm not gonna go too much into spoilers, but up to this point, you could say he was still kind of like up there, but now he just gets destroyed. And later you'll have like people memeing it like Magikarp. You know Magikarp from Pokemon?
the fish, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know if you remember playing the Pokemon games, but Magikarp could only use Splash.
Okay. So
So
not very powerful Pokemon.
Splash doesn't even hurt your enemy, a Pokemon, right? So
Yeah.
it literally Magikarp is powerless. It can't do anything. So what there's memes where it's like Yamcha versus um what's it called? Magikarp. Magikarp uses Splash. Yamcha fainted, and it's this image of like him on the crater. So this is a very iconic moment. Just thought you should know as you watch through it.
Yes. Please stop us and let me know about more of these memes as they come up in the arc.
Exactly, and I will. And there is one other one that I also included an image of here that we'll talk about that's so famous. Like this is the thing. That's why I want for us to react to stuff on the AnimeUproar Twitch as well, which is like the abridged series of Dragon Ball Z when we cover the episodes and like maybe some funny videos because there's a lot of memes about Dragon Ball. So I think it could be fun for us to do that as well. So if you have another time this week, we'll talk about that later. We should hop on and like cover some abridged episodes
Yeah,
because
for
I think
sure.
you'll
That'd be
enjoy
cool.
them. So we have then Krillin losing his shit because he kind of feels like responsible for Yamcha's death because it was supposed to be kind of him, and then Yamcha's like, no, don't worry about it. And then Krillin fucking kills all the other Cybermen except one, to be fair, who goes
Yeah.
after Gohan. And then I love how Piccolo like grabs his arm and then like destroys him. Like that's
Hmm.
great. Like don't touch my Gohan, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
love the overprotectiveness there. But yeah, Krillin, what are you fucking doing, bro? Like he attacks Vegeta and Nappa and obviously he has like no effect on them at full
Yeah.
power. And it's just like, I know you lost your shit, so that's kind of the justification. But imagine if they kept on going, like they might have lost less people by the time Goku arrived.
Absolutely. And not only that, but we talked about Krillin is the strategy guy compared to all the fighters.
Exactly.
So, out of anyone, you'd think he'd be the one who would be like, yeah, stick to the plan. We want to drain this out as much as possible until Goku gets here. But yeah, his emotions get the best of him, and he screws up that plan pretty quickly because yeah, once they're destroyed, now we are faced with Nappa.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Nappa is just a whole different beast. Like, oh my god, when Nappa comes in, like he just powers up, right? He uses that like glowing shit. I don't even know what it is, but like he
Mhm.
glows, his body glows, and then he could like just hit Tien and like it slices his arm off. Like he's
Yeah,
not using a sword or anything. His just aura is so strong and sharp, I guess, that he just slices off Tien's arm. It was fucking crazy.
yeah, and yeah, when he's powering up as well, like the ground is splitting, rocks are floating in the air. Like he definitely manipulates his environment significantly just from him powering up initially. So that's crazy to see this badass guy. And really, I'm thinking in my head, man, they have no chance.
Exactly. And that is, I think, like what comes across. Like what they have to do is take up as much time as possible. Then we have another death. The next death comes pretty quickly, where Chao Tzu, and like I want to hear your opinion about this because this is quite the moment. Chao Tzu sacrifices his life
Yeah,
and explodes on Nappa's back, right? Point blank range, learning from the Cybermen. You know, Cybermen killed Yamcha, even though Yamcha was stronger, by self destructing, so I'll do the same thing. Self destructs on Nappa's back. The dude doesn't even, like, harm his armor, let alone his actual body. Like,
yeah.
that explosion was absolutely for nothing. How did you feel about that?
Well, I'm thinking to myself, don't do this because, yeah, number one, I know Chaozu isn't going to take out Nappa. Like I already know, like that would be like it's not going to work that way. Based on what I've seen previously in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z,
That's
it's
so
not going to be
funny.
all right. We go on to Vegeta now.
Yeah, you're being like meta. You're being meta as you watch. You're like,
Yeah,
there's no way they're gonna give this W to Chaozu of all people.
yeah, and not only that, but Chaozu in Dragon Ball, he ends up dying from Piccolo.
Exactly. So
So
it's
that's
doubly
it for him,
significant.
possibly.
Yeah, it's doubly significant because now he can't be brought back.
Yeah. So no, that was tough to see, and especially Tien is like heartbroken because we've seen through Dragon Ball the bond they have, and yeah, that one's tough. But when I saw that and I noticed he started glowing and he was probably going to self destruct, I thought to myself, "Don't do this. It's not worth it. Like try something else." And of
Oh
course,
man,
it doesn't even delay things,
I would
right?
love to just hear in like audio format your thoughts as you watch the anime. Like, don't
Don't.
do it, Chaozu. Don't do it. You're too weak. Don't do
It's not worth it.
it. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, to an extent, that was a tearjerker because he can't come back. The other thing was it set up the power of Nappa, where this guy could like completely destroy himself, and it will mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously it gets that, in a sense, very interesting Tien moment where Tien gets to shine. Well, gets to try to shine because he wants to make up for his dead friend, right?
Mhm.
So, what did you think about Tien's whole attempt at revenge?
Yeah, I mean, I know he charged that Nappa at first, and Nappa dodged, all his shots. He lands a big punch to Tien's stomach. Um, yeah, I mean, I knew right there, especially with the missing arm, it wasn't going to be Tien's victory, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he did his best. There's only so much you
Yeah.
could do, especially after the emotional toll of seeing Yamcha die and then obviously his best friend die.
Yeah, people are dying like quick. Like it's
Yeah,
insane. So you have another interesting thing is Tien a few arcs ago was the main villain, right? He was
yeah,
the main antagonist of the series that Goku actually lost to. And yeah, now he was again set up like, oh, he got way more powerful. He crushed that Cyberman. He's at a point where he could crush Raditz if he had to. And yeah, he gets absolutely destroyed by Nappa. Again, and in the manga, and I think it was like this in the anime too, uh, he uses I guess, this tri-beam cannon with one hand
Yeah.
and uses all of his remaining life force to try to take out Nappa. And to
Yeah.
his credit, he does actually hurt his armor, but again, it's nothing significant to his actual body.
Yeah. And yeah, that's after using that attack. I'm pretty sure he's drained, right? And that's how he dies.
Yeah, and he was kind of ready to die because he was like, "Yo, Chaozu, I'm gonna meet you up there, bro." And as Sam pointed out, Tien lost his best bro, just like Goku did when he lost Krillin.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know it's gonna be emotional, and yeah, I think we saw that coming. But holy shit, what a way to begin Dragon Ball! So you have Goku obviously die, and then while he's coming back, you have three other main characters die. It's fucking
Hmm.
crazy. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so where do we go from here? We got Tien obviously sacrificing himself. Vegeta's comment is funny. Like he's just like in the manga again that badass Vegeta where he's like he fought like a man and died like a dog. And he says stuff like get that garbage, like pick up that garbage, or like get that garbage out of here. And like yeah, he just has such like harsh words. It's freaking hilarious for a villain, right? Like obviously we don't like him because he's a moral character, but for
Yeah.
a villain, like it is really fun to see how much morally, like how much he lacks morally, and how he just doesn't give a fuck about it, you know. Like
Absolutely.
I really enjoy seeing that. um, so after that, we got Nappa pretty much goes on to fight the rest of them, right?
Yes. So yeah, fights Piccolo, and I'm pretty sure Piccolo suggests to Krillin that they try to do the multi-form technique. And what's also interesting, I think right before that, kind of foreshadows what's going to happen. Kami basically says that he feels his life is coming to an end.
Yeah,
And yeah, at that
good
moment, I'm
point. Yeah.
thinking Piccolo is next. He's going to die.
Well, you're smart. Look at that. Yeah, that is
There
what they
you go.
wanted you to think.
Yeah.
That's
Well, no,
funny.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, in terms of I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to die. But then I'm thinking, how is he going to die? Because I think like one of the episodes, I think when he says that, the
Yeah.
episode right after is called like the sacrifice or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking, did he do something to save another character, perhaps Krillin, Gohan? We find out, yeah, something does happen. But yeah, they end up doing the multiform technique. It doesn't work. Something else I found kind of interesting too, like on the side.
That's where Gohan fails to do it, right? Gohan freaks out and
Um,
doesn't unleash his attack.
So from what I understand, I think they do the multi-form technique, but Nappa hits all of them. Like he's able to just track them down really easily, and then they both fall on the ground, and all the forms come back. But I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that
okay.
happens
Okay, that's
after.
anime only. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Okay. So they
yeah,
split, and yeah, that was totally pointless. Like that didn't happen in the manga, and in the anime, like that was no point. Like we literally, they explained to us in the anime that that technique is useless because it makes you half as strong.
yes.
And what the fuck are they doing? Like
I know,
that's fucking classic filler. Makes no sense.
I know. Something else I found kind of funny when I think it's when Tien dies or something. One of them says like, "Oh yeah," Piccolo warns Vegeta. I think, "Oh yeah, wait till Goku comes." Like Vegeta's like, "Goku? Who's Goku?" Like it's like just he has no idea. He's waiting for obviously Kakarot. He doesn't put the two people together at all. He doesn't understand they're one of the same person until I think a little bit after when he puts two and two together and he could sense the energy. But yeah, no idea who Goku is, and yeah, they're still trying to draw things out. But I'm pretty sure what happens after Tien dies. Do they take like a 5 hour break or something?
Yeah, I think it's 3 hours in the manga. Might be different in the anime. But
Yeah,
yeah, so he pretty much tells him like, all right, you know what? He figures out it's Kakarot, right?
yeah,
And he's like, yeah, we need to punish him because he's a traitor to the Saiyans. And Nappa doesn't want to, right? Nappa's like, no, fuck that. I'm like itching to go.
yeah,
And Vegeta's like, no, fucking stop. Nappa's like, all right, I lost myself. And then Piccolo's like, oh shit, like, did you see how scared Nappa was? That means the smaller guy is way stronger.
Yeah.
And yeah, Vegeta says the reason is because we need to punish the traitor by killing his friends and his son in front of him, right? So
Yeah.
that's that brutal Vegeta that makes you kind of second guess Goku's ultimate decision to let him leave, right?
Yeah.
So I'm jumping
Yeah.
ahead a
Which,
bit, but it's like, bro,
no,
this is like the worst guy we've seen so far. Like, I don't think anybody's like, I want to kill well, like, I don't know, maybe Raditz was, but I'm gonna kill Goku's son in front of him or something. Like, it's pretty fucked up. And Vegeta's like, no, let him go. I mean,
yeah,
Goku's like, let him go, please.
I know. Which, yeah, I mean, at least when he Raditz kidnaps Gohan, he at least gives Goku the opportunity to, you kill these worthless humans, and then I'll give your son back, and you could be with me, and we could be Saiyans
Yeah,
around the
he
galaxy.
just
At least it
wants
gives them that chance.
he just wants a brother road trip, across the
Yeah,
galaxy with some good old fashioned killing and depopulating planets, like
yeah,
some bonding time, bro.
I know.
But yeah, Kate also pointed out Vegeta's confidence, like, and it's on a whole nother level, eh? Like,
Absolutely.
Vegeta is like super prideful, right? That's what he's known for, and yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. At this point, according to him, like, I think they drop it a few times in the anime that, like, they say that Saiyans are like the strongest race in the universe, and Vegeta's supposed to be the strongest Saiyan. So,
Hmm.
it's pretty much putting Vegeta at the top of the known universe for us right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we get I think after that block of time, which again, looking at what happens when Goku does come in, it's ideal that it was delayed by whether it's 3 or 5 hours because he comes in at just the right time. But before that happens, I'm pretty sure their next game plan is to they think back to Goku when he was in that previous tournament, or yeah, when he was in the previous tournament, or when he was seeing his grandfather. And when you grab a Saiyan's tail, typically it
Yeah.
makes them weak. So they're like, let's do the same thing with Nappa. So Piccolo ends up going behind him, grabs his tail, and obviously we find out that he has trained his tail just like Goku trained his tail before. And yeah, it has no effect on him. And he just gives like a serious elbow
Yeah,
to
that hurt,
Piccolo's
man.
head,
Like,
which, oh my God.
that's one of the things that Dragon Ball is good at, and it's like showing the pain, you know?
Yeah,
Like, you know that elbow right to the fucking forehead, or like to the soft part of the head, or whatever it was, it left an indent. It's like, holy shit, man. Like,
yeah,
that hurt. You know that hurt a lot.
absolutely.
And I like the way they did that because it makes sense, right? They're like, fuck, we're desperate. The tail worked against Raditz. Like, it's their only weakness. And I like that we've gotten to a point where, like, obviously these strong Saiyans are going to overcome their weakness.
Yeah,
They're not, like, stupid. They're not going to be just like. So we realize here that they are bigger threats, not only in the department of, like, being stronger than Raditz, but also smarter in that they'll train their weaknesses.
yes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
So
that
yeah, that happens. I
yeah,
also really enjoyed Krillin's Destructo disc.
yes, it comes in a couple times, but yeah, I'm pretty sure when he throws it at Nappa, it does cut through, like it cuts through a mountain, and it does cut Nappa.
Yeah, that
It's like
was
one of the
epic. That
most
was epic.
significant. Yeah, it's the first like significant kind of blow to Nappa
Because
besides that yen
yeah,
hit.
this is and at that point Krillin could have killed Nappa. So this is Nappa's mentality. Nappa is like, bro, these guys are so fucking weak. Like, I'm just gonna take the blow, right? And obviously Krillin did this amazing, like, you'd call it chakra control in Naruto, but like in Dragon Ball it's like, this energy control where he took an otherwise like level of power that wouldn't hurt him, which we saw when he went full blast against him before, but he condensed it in a sharp way where it's like, okay, shit, now it's really sharp and it can cut through pretty much Nappa. And Vegeta has to tell Nappa, bro, don't get cocky, avoid it. And then Nappa does last second, but it cuts his cheek and it cuts straight through a mountain. So
Yeah,
the fact that Krillin developed this technique, which I gotta admit is one of like the best we've seen so far, um, and that he did it like so quickly and so originally, and that it could take out a Saiyan, like that is sick. That is
Yeah,
very cool Krillin hype right there.
I was really impressed with him in this arc.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. No, he
he
was
came in
great.
handy so many
He was
times.
great. Exactly. He was very, very relevant in this arc.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm trying to think. I don't know if we skimmed over it, but that moment when Krillin and Piccolo kind of take to the air and actually land. I think they each land a shot. Like one hits Nappa into another, and they basically have this strategy in place where Gohan is going to blast Nappa, and he ends up obviously cowering and chickening out.
Yeah, a definitive
And
moment for
absolutely,
how the future will go. Yo, LARP the Fist donated 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. It's not showing up on screen because Animac was using this computer to film Rank Cafe, and he somehow deleted he somehow deleted the thing I had popping up that shows when you guys donate. But thank you so much.
absolutely. Thanks. So yeah, we might have glossed over that at some point, but yeah, we get to that moment. Let me see where we are here. I think they get to a moment where Piccolo and Vegeta even they start sensing this crazy high power level approaching, which is hinting that it's Goku. So yeah, that like Goku is on his way. Luckily, that delay in time helped. Um, with the idea of delaying things so there's not more death. And there is one moment where Gohan knocks Nappa into a huge stone, um, and that really
That's while
pisses off
Goku is
Nappa.
coming, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that pisses off Nappa. Like, and obviously, what happens next? He throws an energy wave at Gohan, who is at the time like unsuspecting and vulnerable. And yeah, that's where the big sacrifice takes place, where Piccolo steps in front of it. It's this really dramatic moment to end the episode and yeah, basically saves Gohan's life, but in the process falls over and dies.
yeah.
Which yeah, we get
What
another death.
what did you think of that? Like, look, think about that fucking character development. So, and this puts TN's character development like to shame, pretty much, in my
Yeah,
opinion, because you had Piccolo, who's like way more evil than Tien initially, because Tien was kind of like misguided, had qualms about the way he acted, and so you have this guy who we viewed as like evil incarnate, like the ultimate evil dude, and his arch enemy is Goku, who he always wanted to kill, and he dies protecting Goku's son. Like, what the fuck? Like, that was crazy. Um, Sam says Piccolo, real daddy pride. Yeah, like
yeah,
he was amazing. That transformation was amazing. The best one so far in Dragon Ball that we've seen. And wow, that definitely was emotional. Like he cried. Like he was crying. Like he said stuff like, you were my only friend. You're the only one to talk to me. Like again, we talked about how he kind of felt like Frankenstein's monster
yes,
in his arc, and he finally had someone who didn't view him as that and didn't see him as that, and he ended up like uh proving true to the way Gohan saw him. And fuck, man, that was emotional. That was what a beautiful arc, man. Like obviously it sucks seeing Piccolo die, but in regards to his character evolution, absolutely beautiful.
yeah. He says as well to Gohan that you are like the son I've never had, and yeah, it's pretty emotional
Oh
and it's
god, I'm
crazy.
crying, bro. I'm
Crazy.
crying.
You know what it is? It's crazy to think because we've seen transformations with Tien, even Yamcha to an extent that wasn't anywhere near as dramatic as these other ones. But literally, Piccolo was all of the evil that was, or most of the evil that was in Kami. Like
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
that's Piccolo. Like it's not even a matter of he was this kind of dude who was socialized in a particular way, and that's how he got evil. Like he was literally all of the evil from one particular guy and he was able to change. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And like that's why you gotta love Piccolo. Like that transformation hit harder than any single one. And yeah, just before that, we also had news in the manga at least. They told us that when Goku was 4 minutes away, that they read his power at 5,000. So just pointing out that power level. And then after Piccolo dies, right? Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Gohan obviously responds in kind, and he pretty much powers up to 2,800, which is insane to anyone present among the Z fighters. And then he gets some good shots on Nappa, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he at one point fires an energy
Oh
wave,
yeah,
which
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Nappa
believe
dodge.
Nappa
Naka.
throws it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
He
throws it
deflects
to his
it.
side.
He
Yeah.
deflects it. And Kate, thank you for the donation. She says Green Dad is best dad, saying Piccolo's the
Mm.
best dad. And yeah, he's an amazing father figure. And yeah, you're completely right. Gohan wants revenge. He shoots at Nappa, and Nappa hits it away, but says like, "Oh, my arm is numb." But
Yeah.
obviously, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. And yeah, we get to a moment where Nappa ends up going to step on Gohan, but that's when he goes to step on him and he realizes, yeah, I didn't crush him. And there's Gohan on the Nimbus. And sure enough, we look up and then Goku has arrived. Just in the very nick
Yeah.
of time, he arrives.
Yeah, wow. Like, and I want to know what you thought this whole time because this is also a kind of thing you associate with Dragon Ball, especially the anime. Because to be fair, the manga didn't spend much time on Goku arriving. Like, maybe we got like one or two moments of him running to the place.
Yeah.
But in the anime, it's constantly like, just hang in a
Yeah.
little longer, guys. I'm on my way. I'm
No,
almost there, guys. And
and
like he does that for like 30 episodes.
it's like the same music too. It's like da, 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 and he's like it's like a Super Mario game or something. Like he's trying to run down Snake Way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
it's
did you feel about that?
like it's interesting. As like a runner, I respect it because I like the idea of like, yeah, this distance. I don't know when it's gonna end. You just got to keep like putting your head down and keep going. But it's funny how like sometimes there's a super serious moment leading up to it, like a death or something, and then it'll just switch to go bah, 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 and he's like running down Snake Way.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I think part of the reason they did that was because they didn't want like the fans to like stop watching, and a nice way to hype them up every episode is to have like Goku gonna come next episode, right? So he's like, I'm coming, guys. But
Yeah,
little did the watchers know that it's gonna be like 20 episodes before he actually gets there.
and it would have
Um,
been boring. Yeah, it would have been boring if it was just he shows up on time and like
oh yeah, oh yeah,
easily defeats those guys,
yeah.
defeats
No one
Nappa.
dies. Like, come on, yeah. Storytelling wise, like this was the better way to go, obviously.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and cause yeah, we usually know Goku will get the job done, but then there's the added moment of like, is there time for him to get there? And yeah, I think they did it really well from like a storytelling perspective. And the other thing the anime does in a way, it makes us more patient, and it almost makes it when he arrives even more like rewarding because we've been waiting so long and he keeps saying he's gonna get there and then he finally fucking gets there. So
yeah.
in a sense, like that moment where Goku arrives is so like iconic, and you have that to the point where Horikoshi, a lot of people, obviously you wouldn't know this anime because you're an anime virgin, but a lot of people in the chat and listening will know about My Hero Academia. And Horikoshi said like his idea, the author of that, of a hero is someone who, when he shows up, everyone knows it's gonna be okay. And he got that idea from Goku, right? Goku and Spider-Man as well. And he tries to use that for like his own manga or an anime called My Hero Academia. So that's how much Goku and the way like this moment happens throughout the series of Goku arriving and like everyone feeling it's gonna be all right now, like that's literally influencing manga creators to this day, right?
Mhm.
That's how iconic Goku has become.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, I mean, I did like the way they told it, but I just found it was funny how frequently they just went back to that scene of him running down Snake Way. It was hilarious, especially like contrasting it to a very serious moment when they're people dying and people fighting and getting destroyed
Exactly. And we
out of
talked
them.
about him showing up. We didn't mention that he also got two sensu beans. And
Yeah. So was
again,
it? Sorry, was it two or was it
yes,
one that he split in half?
it was fucking two. All right.
It
So
was
I'll
two.
explain to you what happened.
Okay.
So he saw, I don't know why I added fucking there, but it was two.
The grab.
So he saw Korin, and Korin gave him two, and he was tired from running Snake Way, right? Like
Mm,
that shit's exhausting. He was doing it for 2 days, probably without even sleeping. And then he had to um take the sensu bean, one of them, so he recharges, right? So he took one of them on the spot.
yeah.
And then he went to the battlefield and split one so Krillin could have half and Gohan could have half.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. And in my mind, I'm also thinking like Krillin's thinking like, bro, save it for later. And if we look back, like that would have made the difference between Goku winning if you just
Yeah.
saved that sensu bean like much more easily. But again, it's more interesting from a storytelling perspective the way they did it.
Yeah. Because, um, well, I mean, does he do it because he feels that he needs them? He does tell them eventually to leave and for him to fight Vegeta on his own. But
Yeah, he
I think
wasn't planning on them fighting. Like
yeah,
I he
it is.
wasn't.
Yeah, it's probably tough though. I mean, when he comes, he notices all the death around
No,
him.
exactly. Like
Seeing his
100%.
son beat up, yeah, it's tough.
And this is his best friend who he left in charge of like defending the earth while he was absent, and because he didn't arrive on time, like he got his ass kicked. Then there's his son. Obviously he wants to like, help his son. So it completely makes sense within like a character perspective. It's just
Yeah,
it would have been more strategic in ensuring his victory if he didn't give them the sense of it. But to be fair, they do end up being useful, so it all works out very well.
hmm
And I think Krillin and Gohan near the end of the arc end up being instrumental in the defeat of
yes,
Vegeta. And we're jumping ahead here a bit, but I just think it's so good how it wasn't just Goku beating both of them without a problem. They actually used teamwork, and I like that. I like when there's like teamwork involved. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
Goku doesn't just show up like he did against Piccolo and do the whole thing by himself and win, which was important there because of the whole like tournament arc and like the whole way that the story was building up. Like, but here I like how everyone played their roles and together they like barely win, right? Even
well, yeah, that's the thing.
Yajirobe, even
Yeah,
Yajirobe, like comes in handy big time during this arc.
yes, I'm very impressed with him as well.
But okay, so we've been talking a lot, but let's get now to Nappa versus Goku. Initial thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell right away. We had Nappa, who was significantly stronger than all of the gang, such as Piccolo, Krillin. But yeah, Goku is on a whole other level. I'm pretty sure Nappa starts by going right after Goku. Like we've learned so far that Nappa isn't really a strategy-based fighter. Like he just when he's angry, he'll just go right after you. So he goes right after him. Goku just
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but Zekin brought up a very good point, and he
yeah.
says don't skip over 9,000. So
Okay, yeah. So Goku, yeah,
that moment where Goku powers up, and then Vegeta destroys his scouter, and Nappa's like, what's his power level? And Vegeta's like,
hmm
it's over 9,000.
yes,
Do you know that part? So that
yeah.
the chat wants me to bring it up because that is probably the most famous Dragon Ball meme
Hmm.
of all time. And
Really?
yeah, and we will watch um we will watch scenes of that and like people remix it into music and stuff like that. It's hilarious. It gets thrown around all the time. When we hit you know how we have over 1 million subs now. When we hit 9,000, we made a video called our subscribers celebrating over 9,000 subscribers. So that was kind of like in reference to this meme, right?
Interesting. So
So
is the
like that's
meme?
how famous it is.
Hmm. So is it famous because it's almost like the first time that Vegeta's in disbelief and it breaks the
who
radar.
who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows why memes develop as they do?
Yeah,
Like, you don't know something's gonna be a meme. Like, there's this one meme where like this one character in Naruto holds his brother by the neck, and like people just use it for like every character imaginable. Like he's holding Shaggy by the neck, or he's holding Scooby Doo by the neck. It's just
yeah,
you don't know how it's gonna develop. You don't know why it's as iconic as it is, but like holy shit, is it iconic? And to an extent, I do feel like it's because Vegeta's reaction is so noticeably different than
yes,
it was before, right?
yeah,
Because before he was all chill, and then finally he loses his shit, and he's like, what's Counter's the power level say? And he's like, it's over 9,000. He's like, what? Over 9,000? So like, yeah, it's a beautiful moment, and I will say that many people don't know this, but in the manga, it is over 8,000. So in the manga, it's actually 8,000, but the iconic one is over 9,000.
yeah,
And so that's another clue to not take power scaling too seriously, because like they don't even be consistent with it through the manga and the anime kind of thing.
yes. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. I actually have it written down. Goku starts powering up over 9,000. Wouldn't have I wouldn't have like been able to connect that meme there, obviously. So
No,
thanks for that.
obviously. Yeah, no, like
But
yeah, I really didn't want to skip over it, and thank you so much, Zekin, for reminding me because I definitely wanted to cover it. And yeah, Kate says my life is a lie. 8,000. Yeah. So in the manga it was 8,000, but we all know and fondly remember 9,000. Okay,
mm,
you have lived through the most famous meme of all time. Now, Ray, we may move on to the Goku versus Nappa.
perfect. Yeah. So after that, I think that's the thing that distresses Nappa. He charges him. Goku disappears and kicks Nappa like right in the face. This dramatic kick right to the face. Nappa starts getting more pissed off, starts punching him. Goku dodges all his punches super easily. I think at one point Goku even stands on Nappa's head and he
Yeah,
goes to reach him and he again like disappears and hits him right in the stomach as
that
he
was
tries to.
that was so beautiful. I love the way he did that.
Yeah, like the guy is not even anywhere near Goku at this point. And yeah, Nappa gets up. Goku hits him again. He throws an energy wave at Goku. He blocks it, hits him twice even more. And at this point, Nappa's just like losing his mind because he's like, how could someone be stronger than me? Or at least thinking to himself. And yeah, Vegeta has to be like, Nappa, calm down. Like, you're losing it. I think he shoots an energy wave from his mouth at one point. Goku uses a wave against him, which ends up overpowering it. And yeah, Vegeta's just at this point getting more and more pissed off at Nappa because he's like, yeah, you should have finished him. Like you got to be able to finish him. Similar to the Cybermen, like yeah, you should have finished
Yeah,
this guy
yeah,
before. He's not
exactly.
holding back. I mean, he is.
And yeah, he's trying. He's trying. And in the manga, like Goku and Nappa are more close before he uses the kaioken.
Yeah,
But yeah, eventually Vegeta's just like, fucking I'll do it. And Nappa being again hot-headed, which like he keeps being hot-headed and not listening to Vegeta, and he goes to attack like Gohan and
yeah,
Krillin, right? And then Goku is like, "Oh shit, I didn't see that coming," and he can't catch up with normal power, so he uses Kaioken, which
yeah,
supposedly, again, don't take power leveling too seriously, but Kaioken supposedly doubles his power and speed, so uses that quickly because it's dangerous and it can make his body explode pretty much.
yeah,
He uses it and just punches Nappa so hard in the back that the dude is out of commission for the rest of like the fight, rest of the foreseeable future. Like maybe even
mhm,
never walk again. Like you never know. Like he punched him hard, and Nappa's asking Vegeta to like help him up, right? He's
yeah,
like, and then Vegeta goes to help him up. He's like, "Oh sure, I'll help you up," and then he just fucking throws him in the air and destroys him, getting revenge for like everyone he murdered.
yes,
So that was funny. I've seen memes about that too. Like, did you guys ever think about how Vegeta avenged everybody murdered by Nappa? And that's so funny because
yeah,
like he does. Obviously, for villain reasons, where he's like, "What use are you to me if you can't fight?" But at the same time, he literally avenged everybody.
Yeah, but I was thinking about why he did it. I mean, he did it with the he did it before, like we said, but at this point, he probably realizes Nappa is obviously going to lose. But not only that, he's like defenseless. He won't be able to walk, as you said. So rather than just seeing Goku absolutely destroy Nappa or him doing it, why not just do it yourself? Like flaunt your energy a little bit, and yeah, just take
Yeah,
care of
he doesn't
this
want dead
helpless
weight. Like he
person.
doesn't. Yeah, exactly. If someone can't hold their own weight and amuse him, then he's
Yeah,
not gonna help them. So again, building up this like merciless, cold Vegeta. That's like again pinnacle badass Vegeta right here. Like
yeah.
no fucks given. And he is ready to take on Goku. And yeah, Goku is even surprised when he kills Nappa. He's like, guys, get out of here. Uh, he's stronger than even I thought. And even
Hmm.
King Kai like didn't think he was that strong. So yeah, Vegeta's next level. By far, obviously, this is a recurring pattern, but obviously he's the strongest opponent faced so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think at that point, kind of like what you said, he tells him to get out, and even Goku says, "Let's just like move this fight somewhere else," because he could kind of predict that there's going to be a lot of destruction
yeah.
going on.
And again,
So,
an interesting manga difference where I always find it interesting when I notice these is that Krillin is the one, and we know him as the strategic one and like the thinker. He's the one in the manga who's like, yeah, Goku, you better take it away from here so that there's like less damage.
hmm,
And so Goku listens to him. But in the anime, yeah, I don't remember Krillin saying it. I think he just went to do it.
yeah.
So again, yeah, like a little difference, but interesting nonetheless.
Hmm. So yeah, we get this now crazy 5 episode fight between Goku and Vegeta. There's tons going on. Um,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have I've got a bunch of notes. I don't know how you'd want to
there
how you
there
want
are
to start.
stages. There are stages, right,
Yeah.
where they fight. Like obviously we'll start with Goku versus Vegeta initially. Um Interestingly in the manga, Krillin is like move away from this area to also protect the bodies of the dead.
Hmm.
And Goku is like, "Wait, bro, like, we can't bring him back. Kami is dead." And Krillin's like, "Trust me, I got away." So do you know what Krillin is planning? Because I won't tell you if you don't. But do you know what his plan is to bring them back?
You mean within the manga?
Within the manga and anime, yeah. Because he
Um,
doesn't say it, but he lets us think about it. So do you know what he might be planning? And it's totally cool if you say
yeah.
no. Like that's fine. We'll see
Well, yeah,
eventually.
I'm trying to think back to the moment as well. I can't recall off the top of my head or think of it.
Yeah, it's all good, all good. Moving on. So that's just another detail in the manga that wasn't in the anime. Um, so another interesting detail. I love saying information. Like that's just
Mhm.
that's just me. And pretty much, I do want to thank Soul Slayer for gifting a sub. And you have a situation where they say Saiyans are tested for combat aptitude soon after they're born. So it's like, you know, kind of how we in our schools like streamline kids. It's like, oh, you're gonna be like this when you grow up, so go to this section, and like you're gonna be this when you grow up, and you just go in this section based on your intelligence, right? Like they
Yeah.
did that in Dragon Ball based on fighting ability, and there's a huge philosophy thing that I think is like a battle between philosophies that is made much more clear in the manga, in my opinion. And it comes up with this quote. Because Vegeta is like, the highest of the high we know, like the most privileged, the highest of the so called race of Saiyans, right? And he thinks like there's just some gaps that you can't bridge. So, like, no matter how much Goku trains, he'll never reach Vegeta's natural talent. He can't do it. But Goku says even the lowest born can outdo the elite if they work hard enough.
Hmm.
So that's Goku's battle philosophy. And I think that's really cool because that's kind of the whole message Goku is trying to get across throughout the series. right?
Yeah.
Like even when he's the underdog, he finds a way. And in this situation, you may look back and think, "Oh, was Goku really an underdog if he was part of the strongest race?" But here we have someone who was born way stronger from birth and is supposed to be way stronger, and now again Goku is the underdog, and then we see what happens. So keep in mind, Goku is the lowest of the low among the Saiyans, and Vegeta is the highest of the high, and so their fight has much more meaning to it than just two random dudes fighting,
Yeah.
right? The whole thing is like if Goku can do well, it shows that even the lowest through hard work can bridge the gap or even become stronger than the most naturally talented.
Hmm. And you
Yeah.
said that was in the manga, right?
Yes. And I
Yeah. No,
always
it's
talk
interesting.
I always like to focus on like self-development and philosophy ideas in anime and manga. So I think like this pretty much encapsulates what most shonen are about. And
Hmm.
again, shonen's that demographic that's the same as Dragon Ball, where they fight, they get stronger, and again you'll see this theme of the underdog and like through hard work being able to accomplish anything, right?
Yeah.
So again, you see that in Dragon Ball before you see it in a lot of other series that will come after it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that quote. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So, what did you want to talk about next? Just the fight in general, Goku versus Vegeta.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I have different notes. So I have just how even the fight starts. I think Goku starts fairly aggressive, launches himself. Which, speaking of launches himself, it's funny how during this fight, there's a launch has a brief cameo. I don't know if you remember it, where like she's drunk and she's like, "What does it matter?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like the world's gonna end and the money I've
That
stolen
was
won't.
so weird.
I know.
That
I'm
was
like,
so
why would
weird.
you? Like again, like from the person who only watched Dragon Ball, imagine getting that cameo and you're like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah, like it wasn't in the manga, obviously. And I think like the writer said like he straight up forgot about launch, so like he just stopped including her. But yeah, that's so funny how the anime filler like she's
I know.
like drinking away in like some bar and she's like, "What's the point of it all? The world's gonna end." And I was like, "Holy fuck, this is hilarious."
I know. So
No,
yeah,
I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah,
yeah,
launch, if you guys didn't know, she didn't disappear into thin air. She's just getting drunk with all her money in a random bar.
yeah. Because yeah, the news of the fight of Goku and Vegeta, it's being like plastered. It's on national TV or whatever people watch, and yeah, like people are aware of what's going on. There's like helicopters around. Nappa ends up destroying some, but there are like newscasters sneaking around as well, cameramen, and yeah, people are aware of it. And obviously, when the TV gets like the network gets cut out, we get Baba coming who she comes, I think, a little bit earlier than this and mentions how Goku is like he's made it back to Earth, and she uses the ball, and they're watching the fight on the
Yeah.
ball,
And
which is
again,
interesting.
yeah, all of this is filler. Like
It is,
even
yeah,
the Nappa destroying like the military and shit like that. Like that was all filler. And
yeah,
but that kind of showed again Nappa's character of like not listening to
yeah,
Vegeta.
yeah,
And it's like you kind of get that like why like it's not just that he's powerless now. Like Vegeta keeps having to tell him orders, and like the guy's so hot-headed that he keeps like forgetting to follow them. And then he
hmm,
goes out of his way to like not listen to him sometimes. So yeah, I feel like Vegeta partly was just like sick of that as well, but that's just my opinion.
yeah. No, I figured those were all probably fillers, all those cuts to them, but yeah, we get Goku. What I mentioned, yeah, launches himself at him. Um, basically Piccolo. Vegeta is dodging like a bunch of the shots. They both kind of land some shots here and there. I think the first major attack Goku uses against Vegeta is the kaioken again, the one he used
Yeah,
against
because he
Nappa.
has to, right? Like Vegeta's a whole nother caliber of opponent.
Yeah,
And I just want to say, Zekken pointed out that the standoff image early in the fight between the two, like Goku and Vegeta, like in that desert kind of background,
yeah,
that's also iconic. Like that is something that when people picture Dragon Ball Z, like that's one of the images they'll picture. And we'll
Mm.
go through some of the other iconic images as we see them. But yeah, Goku and Vegeta, the standoff, um, when they're in that desert-esque situation and standing on different ledges and stuff like that's some iconic shit.
Yeah. No, interesting to know. So
Yeah.
yeah, we get moments where Vegeta is powering up, similar to kind of Nappa. Like there are some sparks. The ground is like there's things from the ground
Yeah,
that are
like in
rising.
the anime, in this one at least, like the screen keeps flashing. Like
Yeah,
you definitely like how they kind of had like seizure warnings like in cartoons before?
yeah, yeah,
Like yeah, like this is where it would be hardcore cuz like yeah, I was watching in the dark and like yeah, just flashing like white 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 black white black white black and it's like holy fuck. It catches your attention, but it's also like holy fuck. I think it gets the point across where it's like it puts you more there because that's probably what Goku is experiencing, right? He's probably like getting flashes, like almost blinded a little. So I think
yeah,
it gets it across. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think what eventually happens is Goku ends up using what he calls the triple kaioken, and Bulma even at one point because at the time she's kind of repairing the radar. I forget how she gets it. Is it from Raditz?
Um, I'm not sure. Again, this
Yeah.
is mostly filler stuff, probably.
Yeah, I think she maybe from like when Raditz dies, takes the radar. She basically, the only reason I say this is she puts it on, and when Goku is powering up, or at the time powering
Oh
up
yeah.
to
Okay. Yeah,
use
I
it,
do remember that. Yeah. No.
yeah,
No.
she reads it
Yeah.
as over 21,000.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is interesting. Yeah, I do like how she does that. Okay, so you had a reading on him. So with Kaioken times three, he was at what?
Over 21,000.
Yeah, so that's interesting because like again, Kaioken doesn't make a bunch of sense. Because they said King Kai is like don't go over two, right?
Yeah,
Kaioken times two, and so if Kaioken doubles it, and let's say he has 8,000, and Kaioken doubles it, and then he has 16,000, right?
yeah,
And then it's like, what does it keep doubling? So then it would be like 32,000 at Kaioken times three.
yeah. No, it
So
doesn't make any
so
sense.
yeah, don't view it too closely, but yeah, apparently we do have a reading in the anime that I don't even think we get in the manga that it's over 21,000.
Hmm.
But yeah, again, as a fan, I would have just liked to know all of these different power levels. But yeah, like you kind of lose some of the magic if you have to explain it every single time. So I get why they don't explain like the power level and everything. And just because it says double doesn't mean it's like exactly double. Who knows how it works.
Yeah. So yeah, I think at the time he uses the Kaioken. He says it like times three. And at the same time, so actually, sorry, before that, he lands a number of punches on Vegeta, sends him flying. He lands a pretty significant blow to Vegeta's stomach, like one of the first major blows in terms of just a pure fist right to his stomach. And at this point, you can already tell he's lost a lot of energy, and you're like, crap, I wish he had that sensu bean because
Exactly. Yeah.
this could be his downfall. He ends up using the Kaioken times three, and at the same time, the Kamehameha wave to make it even stronger. And Vegeta uses something I think he calls it the
Gallic
Gallic
gun.
gun. Yeah,
Gallic gun is also famous, like iconic. Like that's Vegeta's badass version of the Kamehameha.
yeah, and yeah, they're pretty equal when the waves are against each other. But then he ends up deciding to go times four.
Yo, how hype were you when he went times
Times
four?
four.
Like, it's so fun how easy it is to amuse us, especially like as kids. And
I know
like,
times
I could just
four.
imagine as a kid, like, oh my god, he can't even do three. Like, he shouldn't be doing three. He can blow up at any time. And then he's just like times four, and you're like, holy shit.
I
Holy
know.
shit! He went times four! Oh my god! Like the hype is so real. So like, yeah, that's something that Dragon Ball Z does like I'd argue one of the best, if not the best, at just building that hype. Cause like you could say some other anime are better at storytelling, but I feel like few anime will hype you up as much as Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
specifically Z too.
So it's the best. around.
Yeah, like a lot of people will like criticize you if you think that, but obviously you haven't watched other ones, so yeah, for you
No,
it's the best around right now.
perfect. Yeah,
Exactly.
so we get that. It ends up hitting Vegeta. Yeah, at this point, like Goku is super gassed. I think we actually find here. I don't know if it's like the first time or I wrote in my notes that you see Yajirobe coming up, and I think what he does is he goes up to Goku and Vegeta kind of gets launched in the air, and he even admits, yeah, he'll come back probably. But Yajirobe comes up and like smacks him on the back and says, "Yeah, good work," and that absolutely kills Goku. It goes to show how much the kaioken has taken out of his body, and he says something like, "Yeah, we did it. Like you and I did it." And like Yajirobe's taking credit for what Goku did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that
Vegeta.
was hilarious. I loved the whole Yajirobe stuff.
I know.
Like it was fucking gold. And I like him as like he's actually powerful, but he's also like completely unapologetic coward. And then he's like, yeah, fuck, I could take credit. We us too like defeated this enemy against everybody. And then all of a sudden like it's like, oh, he's not done yet. Oh shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I know. He's so cowardly in some moments, but at the other moments, like
He's epic. Yeah,
his courage, like even surprises himself. He's almost like, "What did I do?"
yeah, exactly. No, and yeah, so at that point, I'm pretty sure Goku is out of it, right? And he's like, it's not over. And at that point, Vegeta's like, fuck, like, he's clearly overpowers me. Oh no, no, no. So Goku can still fight, but now Vegeta's about to turn into the Great Ape,
Yeah,
right? And the thing is, Goku is super weak, and Vegeta can't find the moon because if you remember, Piccolo blew it up. Smart move
hmm
by Piccolo. Piccolo is also strategic like Krillin. But that doesn't stop Vegeta because he fucking creates his own moon, which was
yeah.
crazy. Like, did you see that coming? What did you think was gonna happen?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because he reflects on like how Saiyans actually transform. Because we thought this whole time it's the moon, right? Or even before, we thought it was like the light from the spacecraft, right? Any sort of significant light like that. But I'm pretty sure Vegeta explains when the moon reflects the ways of the sun, there's this new energy that's created, and that's the thing that actually allows
Yeah,
the Saiyans to
I
transform,
what was
which
it,
I didn't
like
know about.
blitz waves or something like that.
Yeah, some weird
Something
name like
something
that.
like that. Yeah, and that's another cool kind of like scientific thing we learn about where it's like
Yeah,
in the manga it even says there's like a specific section in their tail that like activates it. So that makes sense why if you cut off the tail, like it'll just like not happen. So there's a
yeah,
lot of interesting stuff there. And yeah, the interesting thing is we get to see Vegeta use this form, which up till now we've mostly seen as like a, you lose your shit kind of form,
yeah,
right? Like you don't know what you're doing. But Vegeta, first of all, his Saiyan clothes grow to that size, which I think is a nice touch, because
hmm
Saiyan armor makes sense that it would adjust for that, right? And you can't have Vegeta fighting naked, so they have to do it story wise
no,
as well. But then also he can control his actions, right? Which
yeah,
was super interesting.
and he could even talk.
Yeah, exactly. So so in that case, like it added a whole new thing of what's possible with the Saiyans and with the Great Ape transformation. And at this point, Goku for the first time realizes that yeah, it was him who killed his grandpa, and it was him who destroyed the tournament stage in one of
Yeah,
the tournaments.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. Um, so anything else you wanted to mention about Goku absolutely getting crushed by the Great Ape?
No, not really. I just know there's one moment where he basically says, "Yeah, the Kaioken, like I need to move on from that," and he starts saying he decides he has to use the Spirit Bomb, which I mean, we see that happening a couple times in terms of him trying to power up the Spirit Bomb, and we learned from the last episode and the last um, arc when basically King Kai says, "Don't use the Spirit Bomb. Like, prefer not to use it because it could blow up the planet." So
Exactly.
yeah, he basically says I have to use this at this point. There's no other way. But when he starts powering up, he gets hit in the process, gets knocked down, and yeah, he can't use it. He does use what's interesting, the solar flare.
Yeah, to
And
buy some
solar flare.
time so you can
Yeah,
get away from Vegeta to power up the Spirit Bomb, right?
yeah, but yeah, even that again, he starts powering it up again, and Vegeta snaps out of it, shoots an energy wave from his mouth, and it prevents Goku from using it again. And at this point, yeah, he's super weak. He shoots, I think, one more wave at Vegeta's eye, and at that point, he just has that's the rest of the energy he has. He can't do anything else. And
Yeah,
I think Vegeta like picks him up and King Kong esque just starts squeezing him.
exactly. It was fucking brutal. And who comes to the rescue but frickin'
Krillin.
Yajirobe?
Yeah,
Yajirobe, the
yeah,
legend himself, comes and slices off Vegeta. But first, I guess we should say that first Gohan and Krillin show up,
yeah. I
and
was gonna say
Krillin
that.
tries to use his Destructo Disc,
Yeah,
which again is perfect for that. But Vegeta guesses that he's behind him, and he jumps up, and then he dodges it, and that's why it's left to Yajirobe to cut off the tail.
he like comes out of nowhere too. Like
Yeah,
you think, oh geez, Krillin missed it.
I
Like
mean that is probably like the number one time that Yajirobe shines. It's probably like his top moment in all of Dragon
mhm,
Ball.
yeah.
Cause like yeah, out of nowhere he just comes to the rescue and just slices the freaking tail off. I love it.
And yeah, it's amazing because he's able to read that disc flying at him, but Yajirobe does in such a way that he's able to actually cut it off. Like it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that stands out about this fight is like how long it is and how much they push Vegeta. Like
Hmm.
literally Vegeta gives all he has, right?
Yeah,
Like he just keeps going. He tries the ape transformation. Like he gets like defeated, right? He's still going though. Goku is pretty much out of commission at this point after being squeezed. His body is like broken. He probably can't walk. In the manga, there was this interesting moment where he wanted Gohan to keep fighting, and he's like, "Don't be a coward, Gohan." Like, was all of Piccolo's training for nothing? I don't think I saw that in the anime,
hmm,
right? Because Goku doesn't usually talk like that. So seeing that, like him call Gohan a coward and like not to be a
yeah.
coward,
I
like
don't think he
that's
says that to him.
yeah,
No.
that's fucking crazy. Yeah, because you know how serious it is when Goku is saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the anime chose not to make Goku say that because it's like he's more of like the fun dad who's like, oh yeah, it's all cool, do your best.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty great moment. Anything you wanna say before Gohan actually turns into a big ape because he regrows his tail and then they tell him to look up at the sky and then he becomes the big ape and Vegeta cannot stop him no matter how much he tries.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. This is when Gohan transforms. This is before the Spirit Bomb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Anything significant
Wait,
there?
no, he transforms before the spirit bomb? Which
Yeah,
spirit
I'm
bomb?
trying to think.
No.
So this
So
is when Krillin takes Goku's Spirit Bomb from his hand.
yeah, like in the while Gohan's distracting him kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
this is when he's in the ape form, right?
yeah, around that time. Like
Yeah.
Gohan is distracting Vegeta while Krillin, maybe even before he turns into an ape, like gets the spirit bomb passed on.
Yeah.
Because
Because yeah,
Goku still had some of that spirit bomb power inside of him. He just couldn't launch it, so he passed it on to Krillin because he said Gohan couldn't really handle it.
yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, I think what happens, he passes the Spirit Bomb to him. Basically gets to the proper vantage point where he's able to throw it at him.
But did you
I
even
think he
mention?
dodges it.
Did you even mention how Vegeta cut off uh, Gohan's tail?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think now. Was it at the same time when we had the transformation of Gohan and the Spirit Bomb, or was
So
it at? I thought
I
the
doesn't.
ape
I don't
was
think it matters. I
after.
think the point is like
Yeah.
first Vegeta has to deal with Ape Gohan,
Yeah.
and the tail gets the tail gets cut off,
Yeah.
and he turns back, but he falls on Vegeta,
Yeah,
right?
because he's still in the
Oh,
process
oh,
of
I see
going
what you
back,
mean.
and
I
then he
see
falls.
what you mean. I see what
From
you
what,
mean.
yeah, from my
Yeah, yeah,
understanding,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure what happened was
yeah,
Krillin gets the spirit bomb. He ends up throwing it at him. I
yeah.
think,
But it's not enough. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so yeah, it ends up like he dodges it, but then Gohan, while still a human form, he ends up bouncing it back, and
yeah.
like Goku has
Cause
that telepathic.
a fun detail, a fun detail. The spear bomb doesn't affect the pure-hearted,
Yeah,
so it only goes after evil. So Gohan could actually bounce it back even though Vegeta dodged it. And Yajirobe was an idiot here because Krillin was like waiting to launch the Spirit Bomb, and then Yajirobe was like, just fucking launch it! And then he got Vegeta's attention, and then Vegeta
yeah,
dodged it. So
yeah,
Yajirobe kind of like, he had epic moments, but he also had stupid moments.
yeah.
But luckily, Gohan could bounce it back, and
He
Goku
got,
thought that that might be enough to stop Vegeta for good. But of course, it wasn't. And that's when they kind of have to take on that Gohan transformation, right?
yeah, that's what happens. Because yeah, I think he's like in the air, and then he kind of just ends up getting off the trajectory of the spirit bomb, and I don't even think we see the effects of what happens to it. It just kind of gets lost, and we don't see
No, the Spear
what
Bomb hits him. Yeah.
it hits him. But then remember, he kind of just gets
I
off of
think
the
that's the
spirit
Kamehameha you're
bomb.
thinking of. I think you're
Okay,
thinking of Goku's Kamehameha. That's before he turns into a great ape. Yeah,
okay,
so one of the things that's happening is there's so many like different phases of this battle that
yes,
it's a bit hard to keep track of them all, but yeah, we're
yeah,
doing our best. And yeah, so the spear bomb itself seems to just like kind of hit him rather than like
yeah,
how he just rolls off the Kamehameha kind of thing.
yeah. So he more or less survives the blast, which is impressive enough.
Yeah, and
Because
it's to
considering,
be fair, I think it is like a weakened one, right?
yeah,
Because like, Goku couldn't really focus that much on it. But
yeah,
yeah, he fucking survives after everything. And then Gohan needs to actually be told by Goku to actually look at the moon, Vegeta's
hmm,
fake moon, and become a great ape.
yeah. So yeah, we get that moment, and actually something significant maybe we could add there is, yeah, there becomes a moment where, because obviously we've seen Gohan and even Goku as a kid, when they reach that ape form, they're completely irrational. They don't recognize anyone.
Yeah,
Goku's actually able to connect with Gohan and
yeah,
say, yeah, go after Vegeta, which is pretty significant. He's able to, for the first time ever, rationalize.
exactly. And that makes sense because there's a precedent for it in Vegeta now, right?
Yeah,
Because it's not just randomly out of nowhere. Now we know that you can learn to control him. So it makes sense that Gohan would, as a great ape, actually start going after Vegeta. And
yeah,
then and it's pretty awesome because like that's a lot of power and Vegeta's like weakened and obviously Gohan is more powerful than him in this form, but Vegeta does manage to kind of create a destructo disc of his own, I guess,
yeah,
like copied Krillin, and which is interesting because it shows how much of a genius he is, natural genius, where he can just pick it up without like practicing it. But yeah, he just cuts off the tail. But this is pretty funny. So like he gets caught up under Gohan's Great Ape before it returns to normal size, and bam, it slams, like crushing his body, right? And then he just has like a naked Gohan on him,
I know.
and he can't move. That's such a funny like moment.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Yeah, so we get that moment when he's on the ground. He realizes he's done. Like he has no more energy left at all. So he ends up taking out this remote, and it sends the pod that, like, it's funny because again we see like the humans reacting to all this chaos. We see these people looking at the pods. They're like, okay, let's bring this back to the lab. What is this? And all of a sudden the one pod just like closes and just flies away. And
Yeah,
they're thinking like, what the hell's going on?
yeah, that was
So yeah,
funny.
it ends up going to Vegeta, and he slowly crawls into the pod. But then obviously we get that really interesting scene at the end where Krillin has enough energy to get up. He sees Yajirobe's sword is still there, grabs it, and he's about to basically, finish off Vegeta because he has enough energy to do so. And Goku tells him not to do it
Yeah.
and to
So
be merciful.
what the yeah, okay, so this was a big difference between the anime dub and the manga, which I'll point out here. Cause in the beginning, in the manga, when Goku arrived to fight Nappa and Vegeta, he was mad about his friends dying, and he's like, "Guys, I'm gonna show you bastards no mercy." Like that's what
Hmm.
he says. In the manga. So so the fact that in the anime they choose to say mercy is interesting because that's not how it goes down in the actual manga. In the manga, it's not mercy he asks for. It's he's like, listen, um, I want you to let him go for me because I'm a Saiyan and I really want to fight this guy. Like he's so strong. Goku is excited about the idea of fighting him again, and he wants to get strong enough so he could beat him if he ever comes back.
Hmm.
So in the manga, that's Goku's rationale. His Saiyan side takes over, and he wants like a exciting battle, and so that's why he lets him go because he wants a interesting opponent. And Krillin's like, "All right, you saved the world, right? Goku is like the world's savior. Like I'll listen to you, but you better kick his ass when he comes back."
Yeah.
So here we get complete contradiction to that earlier statement in the manga, where he says, "I'll show you no mercy," where Goku is like, "Show him mercy, he might change like Piccolo." There's none of that in the manga, right?
No.
So they kind of like completely changed the story there. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because it's hard to believe. Like, what were your thoughts on when he let him go? Because like that to me is like, dude, this guy like beat the shit out of your son, killed so many of your friends, and now you're like, show him mercy, let him go. Like, what were you thinking?
The only thing I'm thinking of is because I'm pretty sure right after he says it, Kai's kind of like, I hope he knows what he's doing. But he also says, I also sense an even more powerful opponent on its way to Earth.
Yes.
So
Well,
my
did he
understanding is
say on his way to Earth? I don't know about that.
maybe not on the way to Earth, but he says something to the degree of I sense an even more powerful opponent.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Um,
hype for the next arc as
yeah.
well.
So what I'm thinking is maybe again he alluded to Piccolo, he alluded to I don't know if he alluded to Tien, but he thinks that there will be a way that he could possibly convert him to fight because we see that Vegeta is super powerful when he gets healthy. He'll be strong like Goku. So I'm thinking maybe that's his rationale. But I mean, the kind of part that even Krillin is like disgusted at is as he gets into the pod, he's like, well, I'm going to come back to Earth and I'm not going to be merciful and I'm going to destroy you all.
That was so funny. And I really liked Vegeta's fuck you energy there cuz he's like, Krillin made like so much like struggle. It's like, "Ah, we got to do it, but like fuck. Fine, Goku, fine." And then Vegeta's like, "You're a fucking idiot, man. I'm going to come back here. I'm not going to repay your
Just,
mercy at all. I'm going to kill you
just,
all." Like that was so funny. That was so
just
funny.
thank goodness they didn't have a sensu bean on them and he didn't go, yeah, Krillin, give him my last sensu bean.
Bro, you have no idea how funny that is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Imagine. It's like Krillin, give Vegeta this last sense of being. I don't need it.
He's like, he'll be he'll be a great opponent to have in the future. And just take that and kills them all.
It's like Krillin, we can't risk him coming back. Like we can't risk him dying on the way, Krillin. Make sure he
Yeah,
has a
no.
sense of being. Oh yeah, no, that would be hilarious. Yeah. So you're I think you're picking up the same way that I read it, where it's like, yeah, it's interesting, and there is another opponent to perhaps prepare for, so you got to think ahead. But it is kind of stupid to just like kind of let him go. But you're right, there was a greater evil mentioned, and you never know. Like having strong people out there could help against strong opponents, right?
Yeah,
So I see how you're reading it, and I think that's a good way of looking at it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention at the end of this arc?
Um, no, I think like I really loved it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta put it above the Raditz one just because like
Uh,
so
yeah.
iconic. We got Nappa, we got Raditz. Like I really like Nappa too. Like I really like him. And even though like obviously he doesn't compare to Vegeta, because he's around for like such a short time and
Yeah.
dies, like you really appreciate his arc because you're like, okay, this is my only chance to see Nappa shine, right? And yeah, he's fun. I like it when like super buff guys get like destroyed, and like Nappa brought that to the table because
Yeah.
Vegeta's like this smaller dude, and Goku is pretty small compared to Nappa, but still Goku fucking destroys him. I love watching it when like fit but not like super huge guys absolutely destroy like stronger built guys like Jack
Hmm.
guys. And you
Yeah.
see that when Goku like has his way with Nappa. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, like more information about the Saiyans. I really enjoyed that. Um, like what's not to love? We got Vegeta, we got over 9,000. We got emotional moments where like Piccolo sacrificed himself for Gohan and freaking cries. Like, oh my god, that moment by itself is like better than most arcs. And yeah, like you had everything. You had Goku coming back kicking ass. You had Kaioken. You had Spirit Bomb. Kaioken like switches up everything because now you have like these levels you can attain, right? So yeah, I think this is the best arc so far.
Yeah. I find the Kaioken interesting too because at least he did in the one, he did the Kaioken with the Kamehameha wave. So can he almost do the Kaioken with possibly the Spirit Bomb in the future? I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I think part of the problem there is like the Spirit Bomb takes on the Earth's energy, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's not that useful because like he can't just multiply how much the Earth has to give.
Yeah.
So he could give more of his own energy, but ultimately the power of the Spirit Bomb is the energy you get in addition to your own.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be that big of a difference, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't remember. Maybe that happens and I don't remember. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, interesting idea combining the two techniques.
Hmm.
Overall, did you enjoy it more than the Raditz one?
I did. Yeah. No, I liked the enemies, even though there were only basically two, if you count, the predominantly ones, Nappa and Vegeta. But yeah, that Vegeta fight was pretty epic. I mean,
Yeah,
5 episodes long.
I mean that's about as epic as like Dragon Ball gets. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have moments that to look forward to, and some of my favorite moments, mind you, like I have favorite moments beyond this, but as far as like peak Dragon Ball goes, this is pretty damn close. Like that Vegeta
Yeah.
versus Goku, even the Cybermen, I love that stuff. Like, sometimes I stick to watching like, 3 episodes a day or whatever for this podcast. But like here, I just kept watching because I'm like, fuck, this is good. Like, I just kept
Yeah.
going. So like some days I watch like 6 episodes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so like at this point, I think like I really enjoy it, and I'm gonna enjoy what follows. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. It's literally like a fight basically to the death. Like
Exactly,
they can't even move at the last part.
for sure. Um, yeah. Anything else you want to say before we move on to the world's strongest movie? And these movies are pretty interesting as well.
Yeah. No, we could go on to the movies now.
Okay, so this is I prefer the Tree of Might because we had like Saiyans, and I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the world's strongest movie? So we have that Wheelo mad scientist
Hmm.
who is pretty much like this person that's a brain in like a strong robot, and he's trying to find the world's strongest to put himself in that body.
Yeah.
So and so he wants Goku to put himself in Goku's body, and like we don't need to spend time like over like covering every single thing that happens in the plot,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll cover like some of our favorite moments. And I think it was interesting that they took that sci-fi angle. And of course, I liked seeing Kaioken
Yeah.
because we saw Kaioken in that one, right?
We did. Yeah. I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, fuck. Like, if you watch that movie before the series, then like you kind of like saw Kaioken already. So that's the only bad side to watching this movie.
And
But
and I am pretty sure they also used the Spirit Bomb.
yeah, exactly. So it makes more sense to like view this after the parts we talked about.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so they use the spirit bomb. And it like, what did you like about the movie? What did you not like? Just like, yeah, give me a sense of that.
like I thought it was interesting at the beginning because we get the dragon being summoned right at the beginning. So that's kind of interesting because usually it's something we're used to happening like near the end. And yeah, we get this mentor who I think his name's Dr. Koshin, and he basically says, "I wish for like the best scientist to basically come out of the ice because he's trapped in
Yeah,
ice."
and
And
Bulma even says like, yeah, he died, but he was brought back to life.
yeah, he's recognized around the world for basically, I'm pretty
Immoral
sure
activities, pretty much.
immoral activities. Yeah, doing immoral activities. So yeah, thought it was interesting. It kind of gave me a weird kind of Dragon Ball vibe, and I think it's maybe because I found it was a movie that was maybe less fighting in that sense and more kind of an adventure and the sci-fi idea, like the vampire moment in Dragon Ball. It kind of gave me that kind of vibe to it rather than a Dragon Ball Z movie. I don't know. That was
And
just
I
me.
and I think that's the this is the strong point in the Dragon Ball Z movies, where even if the villains aren't crazy good, like this guy's definitely not one of my favorite villains, like
No.
the Wheelo guy, not at all. But at least we get all of our favorite characters. You know what I mean? We get
Yeah.
Goku, we get Gohan, we get Krillin. Um, so I think that's Piccolo is in this too, right?
Piccolo.
So like that is the cool thing, because sometimes you know you don't get as many awesome characters in some of the old Dragon Ball movies.
Yeah. So the one question I do have, you said watch it after the episodes.
Yeah,
Where does this
obviously.
take place chronologically?
So this is we're going off of Geekdom 101's order, and these are filler, right? So they're like you shouldn't get too into chronology because it's like, it never happened almost. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like you can argue it's not as canon as the manga,
Yeah.
but this, all we know is that this happens after Goku learns the kaioken and after he learns the spirit bomb. So obviously it's after the training. So we could assume it's after the Vegeta fight.
After the fight. Yeah, no, I'm just curious because we get
But
obviously like
Piccolo's alive.
Piccolo
So
is a lot.
again, so yeah, so you can't take it too closely with
Yeah.
chronology because Piccolo's alive and he was killed in this fight. So for the movies, they want to have their popular characters even if they're dead, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why Piccolo's alive here.
Yeah. No, I found there were some pretty iconic like I think this was the movie that had some of the stuff from the theme song, like when Roshi gets
Exactly.
brought into the submarine and he fights those different monsters. He is, he's dodging them, and that's part of the theme song. So those were kind of cool. I like the animation as well. I don't
Yeah.
know. I found they
Yeah.
were nice.
No, I think the movies like that's their strong part. They have that animation like that's cool. And yeah, I liked watching like Goku. I think it was one of the creations was like this like blob that could reflect attacks, right?
Yeah,
And so he went so deep that like it just tore apart. It couldn't like deflect anymore.
yeah,
And like they had their like freezing powers. So it was interesting. Like all those guys had their own unique powers. Like
yeah,
one guy was electricity. So yeah, that made it interesting. And then Goku had to use Kaioken to escape from the ice, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I do like that aspect of it. They incorporated like all of these different little interesting things to make it more interesting, like superpowers that you don't usually see. Like
yeah,
nobody else that I can think of can like freeze you. You know what I mean? Make you into a
yeah,
block of ice.
yeah. We also had Piccolo getting taken over, his body taken
Yeah.
over.
Again, interesting stuff. Body getting taken over. An interesting concept.
Yeah, that might come out possibly. I'm guessing.
Oh, maybe. Don't get too
Similar,
excited.
similar,
Don't get too
similar.
excited, Virgin Boy.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
uh,
I don't know. I think I agree with you in the sense that I would say even the movies we watched last week, comparing it to them, I wouldn't put it necessarily at the top.
well,
But
we just watched one movie, right?
yeah, we
Yeah.
just watched the one last week. Yeah, yeah. So comparing it with that, I would say it would even be third among it. But I did like the next one better. I think it's because
Yeah.
it had the things in it.
Yeah. And so we could move on to that one. Um, the one with the Saiyans, the Tree of Might, and I like this concept a lot. So you have Turles, who's like a Saiyan,
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be the strongest, right? So he's like a fill-in for Vegeta, I guess, in a way. But he looks
yeah,
exactly like Goku. So that's an
yes,
interesting concept as well. And for him, they plant trees, which you'll see in actual another famous anime. I won't say which one it is. Like they plant a tree that takes over like all of the life, like kind of the spirit bomb of the earth, but like
yeah,
until the earth is destroyed, and then
yeah,
bears fruit. And then if you eat that fruit, you become stronger, which is
yeah,
Turles' goal. And so you got evil Saiyan coming to Earth, planting a tree of death, like the tree of might, and then the guys have to take him on. And I remember this fondly because that dragon, I also remember from my childhood, that like dragon thing that Gohan meets,
oh, Icarus, I think.
Icarus, yeah. So that was
Yeah,
cool seeing him again because like that's a blast from the past as well.
yeah, that was cool. And it was actually cool to see how like Chi was so against the dragon, and we get that strictness from her that we've seen
Yeah,
before. And
it was
you know,
super
Goku
cute. It was super cute.
tries
Yeah,
to be like a wholesome dad, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I created this thing outside the house. It can sleep, and you can still play with it." Like he
exactly.
still wants his son to have fun and be adventurous.
No,
And you know what?
I like that. I like the sense of adventure
Yeah,
there.
you know what's something actually I totally forgot to mention near the end of the arc was you finally see this transformation in Chi Chi when she's watching from Bulma's or for Baba's ball. She's staring at it and she's in shock, and then finally she's like, "Yeah, Gohan, just go kill him." Like the first time we
That's a
ever
fun
seen,
moment. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, ever
No,
seen that transformation in her.
yeah, I like that. And yeah, so we have that. We have Gohan like yeah, again, the Gohan's power-ups are always interesting. Like he's always considered to have like this unique potential. But yeah, like I like this movie again, like I said, because of the Saiyans. Anything else you wanted to mention, like about this one?
Yeah, the power ups were interesting because I'm pretty sure the Goku Saiyan lookalike ends up killing Icarus, and
Yeah,
Gohan just
well, I
absolutely
think he
goes
ends up
off.
being alive, but it definitely looks like he killed him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I think
at
he
the end,
somehow ends up being alive, but
he
yeah, he
survives.
kills him, and Gohan is in the ape form, right?
Yeah,
So he loses his shit when he kills Icarus, and so yeah, that was interesting as well.
yeah.
We saw the ape form, and again, like in the series, we saw him actually gain control of the ape for a bit and calm down, but then like he lost his shit when his baby dragon was seemingly killed.
I do have one question though. This is near the end. So he uses the spirit bomb. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he says something like he has the power of nature inside,
yeah.
and
So
the tree is destroyed. So how does the spirit
that
bomb
was
target
weird.
the
That was
energy?
weird. Second puts up a good point here. He says the spear bomb failed at first, right? Which
Yeah,
was unexpected. And I agree. Like I at this point, Turles was alive, right? They beat all of his underlings. And Turles was alive, and he beat the spear bomb failed. Everyone seemed down for the count. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this dude's winning and there's like 5 minutes left in the movie? Like
yeah.
is this dude just gonna fucking win? Like what's going on? And so that was interesting seeing that moment. But then, yeah, he apparently had some kind of power within, or and King Kai actually explains that he borrowed power from the Tree of Might that it
That's what I'm
collected.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what King Kai said. So he
Okay.
borrowed the power that the Tree of Might collected, and then launched that, and that was enough to destroy Turtles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. And yeah, I agree with Zekin. That moment stood out particularly because I'm like, bro, how's there only a few minutes left? And this dude is like killed everybody almost and like he's still fine. Like how are they gonna do this? So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a close one. I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah. No, I think it was cool, tourist to see like this Goku look-alike insane armor. That was kind of a unique sight to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I
but yeah,
think it was cool. I think it was cool animation. It was cool again having the concept of like Goku being looking like a Goku lookalike. That's a strong Saiyan, and then Gohan
yeah,
mistakes him for Goku at first. Like yeah,
yeah,
there was a lot to enjoy in that movie. It
yeah,
definitely I rank it above the the one before it, the one with Willow.
Yeah, no, I'd rank it as my top so far Dragon Ball Z
Yeah,
movie.
probably that's a fair point. And I think like they're pretty hype movies too. Like,
Yeah.
they are filler, but like somebody mentioned the Cooler movie in the chat. Again, I'm not gonna mention any details, so not to spoil Ray, but yeah, the Cooler movie I'm excited for. Broly, like, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to in regards to movies
Hmm.
that might as well be canon for how like epic they are, how iconic they are, and how people still remember them and talk about them. So Turtles was
Yeah.
definitely like one that you'll see mentioned in the Dragon Ball community. Like, the especially with any discussion about all Saiyans, like they're gonna mention him as well.
Yeah. No, totally. No, I enjoyed the movie, and I'm glad we're able to watch it this week.
Yeah, exactly. And I think again we're gonna take a break from the movies, but then we're gonna cover some more movies next time after that. But I'll let you guys know that as they pop up. So again, a reminder that next episode we are covering 36 to 61 of the Dragon Ball anime, or chapters 48 to 77, and we are entering the Namek Saga. If you haven't, make sure to follow us on the podcast platform of choice, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Give us a follow. You can watch full downloaded episodes there. And also, you can catch us on YouTube on AnimeUproar 2, the channel, where a bunch of you commented. So it's fun there because like I can like respond to your comments and stuff. So you'll find podcast episodes there as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, everybody live and everybody listening somewhere else. Remember that we do film this live on Twitch at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Rank Cafe. Any final words, Dragon Ball version?
No, thanks everyone for listening. And yeah, super happy we were able to talk about Vegeta.
Yeah, exactly. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.